Shalom. Kol Holo Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai Bahashem Raha HaKadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect scattered throughout the four corners of the globe. My name is Barat the Ball, coming to you from the GMS campus, Indianapolis. And to all those listening and learning, to you, I say Shalom. Especially to you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians that make up the 12 tribes of Israel. Today, as you can see, the front page here is white woman exposes why her people dislike black folks. Now, of course, I guess the title of this piece will be called Perpetual Hatred, but I just have a couple scriptures. It's pretty long, I guess it's a long video to actually play. If you go into I'm gonna play the first part of it, and then if you jump to like 6 minute and 44-second mark, then she goes into a little bit further explanation after you see the gentleman here, J.R. Wisdom, says his piece. So I'm gonna hit play. Hopefully, again, it's edifying, uplifting, exhorting to the elect body of true believers. And here we go.
And think about what I wanted to say, so I didn't want to give the typical answers. Most people who have been giving, like, I don't see skin color or nothing, because that is true, but it's a lot more complicated than that. I even wrote out all of my points so that I wouldn't forget anything and that I could be as concise as possible, but this may still be a little long. First, some ground rules. This is my opinion. I am here to explain how I see this, but not to excuse anyone's behavior. And yes, white people are not a monolith, but I also think that way too many do not reflect on these issues, and I will mention why. And white people, if you're watching this is for Mark and other black people. So before you start popping off in the comments, maybe you need to sit down and reflect on what I'm about to say, because I don't think we reflect enough on these kind of things. So here we go. So white fragility is real. I'm not going to explain what white fragility is. Black people probably know. If you don't know and you're white, go look it up. Google it, your friend. But I think every single white person experiences white fragility. Those who experience it a little experience it as guilt, and those who experience it a lot display it as anger. Anger is a secondary emotion to other emotions, mainly to hurt and fear. As I mentioned in my video 2 years ago, which you can go look, is pinned at the top of my page, which was a discussion about why white women hate black women. It's really because we fear them, but more accurately, we are intimidated by them. I believe that these feelings of intimidation actually carry over to white men, and maybe even more intensely, because white men are born into a supremacist patriarchal society that was set up for them and puts them at the top of the society without even having to do anything but be born. They just have to be born, and they're automatically the best, accordingly. In general, that concept applies to all white people, because our identity starts, and for some of us ends, with the color of our skin. Most of us, a lot of us, many of us feel like we don't have the need to prove ourselves, because we've been sold the story that being white simply just makes us better. We are unmotivated to educate ourselves, to develop community, to work for our rights. I mean, see what's going on right now in the country. All these white people are giving lip service to, oh, it's so bad, what are we going to do? But nobody's out here organizing. Nobody's doing a damn thing. We all know that black women are the ultimate organizers. White people don't know how to organize. They don't have community. They just know how to complain. And we just think everything is going to be okay for us, and we're going to come out on top because we're white, because of the color of our skin. So then when we see black people who are educated and have culture and have community.
So I'm going to stop it right there, because this video.
And just as he stopped, I'm going to stop just the same. Again, you can finish the rest of this video, but she said a lot. And actually, in the second part of the video, it kind of goes into a little bit further as to the hatred. But there's a couple scriptures. And again, I'm going to make this short. Hopefully, again, the scriptures, they come up for me. This is, one moment. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 64, verse 8. It says, "So they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away." And see, part of this is that the prophets, through Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, has been sent out in the highways and the byways to do their video epistles, to be watchmen, okay, and to prophesy the second coming of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. But because we are in the time coined by our head apostle Tahar, we are in the time of Esau's destruction, and at the same time the salvation of the elect of Israel. There are many things that are actually happening simultaneously. One of which is you see Yahweh Shai, according to the scripture, saying he is making Esau bare. He is uncovering his secret parts. And again, a secret part can also be, the things that they do as far as their meetings and things like that. But then also what could be secret is how they think, their mindset. All right. Those that that you be around in your daily lives, as far as work, whether it be school, all of when you are again at the gym, the one gentleman or female that you may have an encounter with at a club or bar. Overall, as a nation of people, they have this mindset in which this lady has displayed. And Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai is, again, allowing them to speak on these things about their own people to further show you the mindset of their people. And of course, he uses the prophets to come across this information and then decipher it, bring it out through the scriptures. He says, "And all men shall fear and shall declare the works of the Most High, for they shall wisely consider his doing." So this is part of one of the Most High's doings. Before he brings forth a destruction to a nation, he sends forth the prophets, and then the prophets are in a place where they are telling the nation, like Jeremiah said, "The prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied against many countries and a great kingdoms of war, evil, and pestilence." Like Moses had told of Egypt, of their doings, the evils and the pestilence that was going to befall them. So there's nothing different in these times, telling Esau, Edom, what's going to befall them. Why? Because the works and the things that they've done. And so this is one of the things, and he's using his own people. And she could be, they'll look like an Edomite. She could be a Jake, because we always have to keep that in mind. But verse 10, it says, "The righteous shall be glad in the Lord and shall trust in him, and all the upright of heart shall glory." So this is what the elect are going to glorify in, is the fact that the Lord is actually working a wonderful work as we currently speak. All right. Again, he's making Esau bare, and he's just uncovering his secret parts. He's doing it by the mouth of the prophets, but he's also using his own people to tell upon them. There's a scripture that came to mind that talks about how the children, I believe is in the book of Job. It talks about the children will complain of an unrighteous father, and this is one part of it. It talks about how their own women will pretty much pity the men. Okay. But this is part of also of the curses that are that was once befalled upon the children of Israel are starting to be lifted up and be placed upon this current nation, Esau, Edom. And what I'm saying by that is because the woman's eye is of these nations, especially of their own women, are starting to have an evil eye for their own men. And this is a thing that actually happened into the children of Israel, starting with the so-called blacks, the elect of the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. Or I say it started with us, but as a nation as a whole, Salakia. Here's the book of This is the book of Thessalonians, 1 Thessalonians, 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. I'm jumping at verse 3. He says, let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall come, for the day shall not come except there come in the falling away first, and that the man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. Okay, so of course, continuing on, the man of sin, son of perdition, Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. He says, who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called the Most High, or called God. We are the children of Israel, and he's definitely exalted himself above the children of Israel and anything that is of the Most High, making himself to be as the Most High, as you will see, and that is worshipped, so that he as the Most High sitteth in the temple of the Most High, showeth himself that he is the Most High. And reason why we bring this out, because she mentioned how just based off of their pure whiteness, they were above, and they placed themselves above just to be born in their whiteness, which if you look at the second part of it, she tells you, and the prophet's been bringing this out already, is telling you that it was a social construct of black and white, and whiteness and purity created in like the 1600s, the early part of the 1600s. And so it says, remember ye not that when I was yet with you, I told you of these things. So now we're here in this time, we're recounting the words of Paul, and he's telling us in verse 6, and now ye know what withholdeth, that he might be revealed in this time, which is now. For the mystery of iniquity doeth already work. During the time of Paul, it was the Romans, the Edomites, which are Idumeans. All right. And then, of course, we're now in America, which we say is Rome 2.0. When you even hear Elon Musk make statements of the robots are being like legions, are going to be like the legions of Rome. When you hear, when you see Elon Musk throwing up signs, and how they've, even when they talked about when they actually went into the dire wolves, and of course, naming the dire wolves Romulus and Remus, going back to Rome. Those are just a few things in current time, that they've done. But everything that America has done has dated back to the ancient Romans. And it says, and then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth. They're being consumed by the prophets. Everything in which they've done and the things that they've been about has been spoken by the mouth of the prophets. And now, because of that vibration being set out into the world, the prophecies, his word has to come true. Okay, because he said his word is going to come true. So when we speak things like their tongue falling upon themselves, now you're starting to see, it happen more and more, as we get closer to the Lord's return and bringing judgment to this place. And that's just an example of others, many others. And it says, he says, even him whose coming is after the working of Satan, with all power and signs and lying wonders. So just kind of like the dire wolves, which they said was 13,000 years in extinction, and they were able to bring them back. That would be a sign and lying wonder. But the robots that I mentioned of Elon Musk, that they're going to do, building up even to the chip, the mark of the beast, where they're starting to put, they're able to, do some lying and signs and lying wonders with those things, helping people to be able to possibly see and to recount memories and certain things like that, for an example. But they have been revealed. Okay, they are being revealed, and pretty soon the Lord is going to bring forth destruction. This is the last scripture. This is the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2, verse 15, because she made a statement in the second part of the video where she was saying that just even looking at us grieve them, and here's the scripture, Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2, verse 15. He says, he is grievous unto us even to behold, For his life is not like other men's. His ways are of another fashion. And so the starting especially with the elect of Israel, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native American men, and even the women, we move different. We have a different vibration, a different energy in how we move upon the earth. But when he say especially the elect, it's because when we have the spirit, the elect will have the spirit of the Lord on them that will really distinctively set them apart from all the others, even amongst those that of their own nation. Because again, the Lord is going to have care, special care for his elect. And so with that being said, it's being made known. We've always been speaking that these people don't like us. They hate us. The Lord speaks of them having a perpetual hatred for us. And pretty soon he's going to show his horns. He's going to show it in a more physical level when he starts to come down like great wrath, considering that he knows that he has but a short time. Also, coming in like a flood upon those of the elect. So just know that, of course, the prophets have said it first. The prophets of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, started with our head apostles and elders of Great Millstone and those that teach the likewise doctrine. So with that, I hope that this lesson was edifying, uplifting, exhorting of some sort to the elect body of true believers of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Before I end, I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rahahakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect scattered throughout the four corners of the globe. And next time, all those listening and learning to you, I say Shalom.